On the front, in my grandfather's handwriting, for my granddaughter, when you're ready to come home. The second was something wrapped in gray flannel. The flannel was old and soft and instantly familiar. The same flannel my grandfather had been wearing in the hallway the night I was 15, the night my mother had counted down his 5 remaining years to my father through the wall. I unwrapped it. A small brass key on a wire ring. Tied to the ring was a folded recipe card. On the front, in my grandfather's handwriting, old-fashioned, for when you have your own kitchen. On the back, the actual recipe. The key was to his liquor cabinet. I opened the envelope. A 2-page letter. The handwriting on the first page was steady. On the second page it sloped slightly downward at the end of every line, the way his hand had shaken in the last year of his life. Sweetie, if you're reading this, then your mother did what I knew she would do. I am sorry I am not there. I could only get out ahead of her. I saw all of it. The bracelet at the barbecue, the bedroom they gave to your sister, the night I heard her count my years through the wall. I never said it out loud because I knew if I did, you would feel that you had to choose, and I never wanted to make you choose. I wanted to make the choice not exist, so I made it not exist. The house is yours. The accounts are yours. The receipts are yours. None of it can be taken back. You are not a burden. You never were. You were the one who came to the shop. You were the one who learned to sand with the grain. You are the only person in that house who ever closed a door quietly. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Just come home. I love you, Pumpkin. Grandpa. I sat with that letter for a long time. When I came out, Dale was waiting in the corridor with his hands in the pockets of the brown cardigan. He did not ask me anything. He walked me back to the lobby. It was 12:47 p.m. I had been inside Northern Trust for 3 hours and 20 minutes. My phone, when I turned it on in the parking lot, had been buzzing for most of that time. 23 missed calls from my mother, 4 from my father, 1 from my sister, 6 voicemails. The first, at 9:14 a.m., was high and rushed. Honey, we may have moved too fast this morning. Come home, we can talk. The third, at 11:18 a.m., was sharper. If you've gone to the bank, Amber, you need to know. That account is family money. It's not yours alone. Your grandfather was not in his right mind at the end. We can fix this. The fifth was my sister. 9 seconds. K. So my video is doing really well. Might be a problem, lol. Call mom. The sixth, at 12:36 p.m., was my mother again, whispering, Amber, whatever they told you in there, your grandfather was sick. You know he was sick. We can take care of this as a family. I deleted them. I drove to the Holiday Inn Express in Acme Township. $89 a night. I paid with a debit card from my bartending tips. The clerk gave me a key card and asked if I needed anything else. I went up to room 207. I locked the door. I sat on the bed. I read the letter from my grandfather one more time. Then I folded it and put it in the Navy folder, and I turned off the phone, and I went to sleep for the first time in 26 hours. When I woke at 7:00 a.m., the sky was just beginning to turn gray. I picked up the phone. I called the one number Dale had written down for me before I left the bank. Helen Crestwood, attorney at law, Front Street, Traverse City. She picked up on the second ring. Miss Farrell, she said, Dale told me you'd be calling. Can you come in this morning? I said yes. Helen Crestwood's office was on the second floor of an old yellow brick building. Her name was on a brass plaque next to the door. Crestwood and Associates, EST 1986. She was 67. Silver hair to her shoulders, a black wool blazer over a cream silk blouse. She stood when I walked in and shook my hand in both of hers. You look like him, she said. She poured me coffee from a French press. She slid a plate of butter cookies across the desk and pushed it gently with 2 fingers and said, Eat one. I ate one. Then she opened a navy folder identical to Dale's. She had kept her own copy for 9 years. Standard practice. She had pulled it from her file cabinet that morning, she said, the moment Dale called her at home the night before. Your grandfather drafted everything in 2016 with one outcome in mind, she said. Today we activate it. You sign 2 documents. I do the rest. She slid the first one across. 30-day notice to quit, per Michigan compiled laws, section 554, 134. In Michigan, she said, a person living in a home without a lease, without paying rent, without a beneficial interest is what we call a tenant at will. Your parents and your sister and her boyfriend fall into that category. The law is straightforward. You serve them a 30-day notice to vacate. If they don't leave, I file a summary proceedings complaint at the 86th District Court. That's the local district court for Grand Traverse County. The court schedules a hearing 7 to 10 days later. They will not have a legal defense. They have no lease, no beneficiary status, no equity. The judge will issue a default judgment for possession. There is a 10-day appeal period. After that, the court issues a writ of restitution. The sheriff schedules the lockout. She looked at me over her reading glasses. You don't owe them a fight, Miss Farrell. You owe them paperwork. Michigan does the rest. I signed both with a Bic pen she handed me. There is no ceremony in justice. Justice is a Bic pen and a Tuesday morning. She scanned the signed pages and sent them by encrypted email to a process server she had used for 30 years. Notice gets served tomorrow, December 28th. The 30-day period ends January 28th. If they are still in the house on January 29th, we file with the court that same morning. She paid me a small, precise smile. They will be there on January 29th, Miss Farrell. People like your mother always think the law is bluffing. The process server's name was Linda Kowalski, 42 years old, licensed in 3 counties. She carried a body camera on her chest because she had been screamed at by enough people to stop relying on her memory. She arrived at 8818 Cherry Bend Road at 10:14 a.m. on December 28th and rang the doorbell. My mother answered in a black salon cape and a head full of foil highlights. She was in the middle of doing the hair of one of her ladies' Bible study regulars in the kitchen. She opened the door with the bright public smile she had cultivated over decades. Linda smiled back, professionally, briefly. Mrs. Farrell, I have a 30-day notice to quit issued by the legal owner of this property. Today is December 28th. The 30-day period begins now. My mother's face changed slowly. She held the document like the words were a language she did not speak. This is a mistake. Service is complete whether you sign or not, ma'am. The clock starts today. My mother tore the notice in half in front of her. The Bible study lady inside gasped. Linda's face did not change. That's fine, ma'am. I have 3 other copies and a body cam recording confirming service. Good day. She walked back to her car and drove away. My mother stood in the doorway holding 2 halves of a piece of paper. Underneath the lawyer's signature, she could read the words that did not need to be read twice. On behalf of property owner Amber Lynn Farrell. Within the week, my mother had sent 14 emails to Helen, written 1 handwritten letter, and visited the office twice without an appointment. Helen sent back a single 1-line response to all 14 emails. Mrs. Farrell, my client does not owe you a conversation. Goodbye. My mother hired a lawyer named Jason Whitfield. 3 years out of law school, strip mall office in Garfield Township. He read the trust. He read the title insurance policy. He called my mother on the second day. Ma'am, you don't have a case. You don't have standing as a beneficiary. You don't have a lease. And there's a title insurance policy on the property. I'll send my invoice. His invoice was $385. On January 29th, with my parents still in the house, Helen Crestwood walked the $45 filing fee across Front Street and dropped a summary proceedings complaint on the desk of the clerk of the 86th District Court. Hearing, February 6th. My parents attended without counsel. The judge was a woman named Patricia Greaves. Black robe. 19 years on the bench. She read the trust. She read the deed. She looked at my parents over her glasses for 4 full seconds. Mr. and Mrs. Farrell, the deed is clear. The owner is requesting possession. The court grants it. You have until February 22nd. Default judgment for possession. 10-day appeal period. No appeal. Writ of restitution. Issued February 17th. Helen called me on February 20th, a Friday evening, while I was eating soup from a styrofoam container in room 207.